Hi, my name's Mckend. I run LinkedIn's talent solutions business in the UK. Fantastic so far. Always a great opportunity to meet existing customers, but the thing that I love the most is meeting new people. So we've already had a couple of very conversations I wouldn't have had without being here. Wow. A lot can change in a year. I think one of the things that we've seen is, uh, first of all, an enormous amount of change in leadership across the learning industry. I think that the accountability that senior leaders are looking for from their own learning leadership has changed fundamentally. Um, from being a nice to have to something that people never really thought about from a return on investment perspective. I think senior leaders are really now looking to their learning leaders to deliver real return in their businesses. And that's quite a significant shift for a lot of learning leaders. There are so many different things happening at the moment. It really need to keep your head quite steady to figure out how to keep abreast of it. A couple of things that we're doing. Firstly, from a product perspective, I'm really excited about some of the AI features that we're infusing into LinkedIn Learning. There's a coaching feature, an AI coaching feature that I particularly like, kind of providing you the sort of advice where if you were just starting your career, telling you what you need to know before you even know you need to know it, sort of thing, which is quite exciting. And I think we're going to see more and more of that AI curation start to happen in learning. So that's one component. I think the other area is just the sheer volume and quality of content that every learning organization is having to create to stay current. And if you think about the change that you've seen in AI in the last year, how many new courses have had to have been developed in order to help people understand how to become prompt engineers, just for example. That's an enormous change. So there's kind of two trends. On the one hand, the infusion of AI. On the other hand, how do you stay current from a content creation perspective? Sorry, I was just going to, if I may. One other thing that's really interesting is the tech stack that people are using for learning. I think it's getting more and more sophisticated. If you think about the relationship between content, LMS, LXP, every other HR piece of software that you have in the business, and getting them to speak to each other, I think that's a really significant trend that we're seeing in the industry is more and more integration. And from a LinkedIn Learning perspective, I think if you can get that part right, it really adds an enormous amount of value to what you can get from your learning implementation. We're doing an enormous amount with the LPI, and I think that what it's given us, is access to a really super community of very highly qualified learning professionals that, I'm not sure that we would have been able to do without the relationship that we have. Everything from webinars to on-site meetings with learning leaders, the ability to have conversations that help us understand what our customers need. Really, really fantastic partnership. And tonight's it's a really important part of that. Well, now that the food is over, I'm quite excited to see I love the idea that people, the joy that they get from an award and the recognition in and of itself is quite exciting. But for me, it's about new relationships. And, I've just been sat next to, customers that we've had relationships with over years. I met a customer tonight who's bought LinkedIn Learning for the last 15 consecutive years. What I learned from this guy this evening was worth the price of admission alone.